We got actual walkout music for our next guest. We got Funk Master walkout music. Is he here? The current UFC featherweight contender. Oh, look at this. This guy's got actual walkout music.
I'm here to win.
Yeah, this is
Win at all costs. I will not stop. Until I'm the boss. I'm coming for everything they said I couldn't have. Roadblocks, we running past. Coming strapped, snatch your bags, climb to the top with the kill shot. Things you prayed and hoped for. Dreams turn to hood folklore. Dreams turn to hood folklore. Got a new opponent, time to catch a case. You talking tough, about to test it. No need for judges.
Seven. What does that say?
Oh, that's Funk Master.
That's your signature? I thought it said 7 malt. Oh,
No.
Yo, this is beautiful.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having
Welcome
me.
to the new studio. Appreciate you. I would like to try this.
I was gonna say, I know you don't typically drink, but you know,
big occasions. We say Mazel Tov.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, that's what my people say.
Smash 'em up.
Yeah. First of all, the song is called what?
Here to win.
Here to Win.
Yes.
When did that come out?
We're working on some cover art right now, and then once the cover art is done, we can upload it.
So this is your third.
This will be the third song, so hopefully get it uploaded this week, and then it'll be out probably on all the streaming platforms, and maybe like the following week or something like that.
When do you do this stuff?
In my spare time, sometimes.
Yeah.
I like music, man. That was like my first love, first passion. That basketball, things straight out the hood, you know. So fighting was just something that I was obviously better at.
Yeah. Okay. Can I try this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I don't want to screw it up the opening. How do you do it? How do you do it? This is an honor. This is the brand new Funk Harbor, which is out now, right?
Yes, sir.
Where can people get it?
FunkHarborRum.shop.
By the way, I remember when you were telling us about the idea.
Yes.
Like it wasn't even a thing. And now here you are actually selling it. When did it come out? It came out over the summer?
August 1st, right before Jamaican Independence Day.
Okay.
I don't want to kill you.
Yeah. You think that would kill me? You think
Well,
I'm that big
I
of a
don't.
lightweight,
You say
huh?
you don't drink too much, so you know.
Look at this. 200 pounds of steel here, Aljo. Okay, this is exciting.
Are you
Wow.
200?
I'm 200, yeah.
Okay.
How about that? I'm not that wimpy. Okay, this is it.
This is it.
This is for me.
Wait, is that
Cheers.
the smaller one?
I don't know.
I think I gave you the bigger one.
Oh, whatever.
Let's switch.
I'm a big boy. Okay, here we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Congratulations. Salute. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
L'chaim. We say l'chaim, to life.
Lahaim.
Yeah.
And Solange.
Yeah, Solange as well.
Solange.
Do I go one shot or do I sip it?
You can sip it. I would sip it.
I want to do one shot.
You want to do a
Is
shot?
Is that
You could, but I would want you
To
to taste
appreciate-
it first.
okay, got it,
Yeah,
got it,
just so you could get it.
tastes like the islands.
The island breeze.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Solid, right? A lot of people, they don't drink rum, so they don't really know. But once they try it, if you like whiskey, you like bourbon, this is
So
one of the
is
smoothest.
rum something that is specific to Jamaica?
Yes,
And
it's all we drink.
that's all you drink. That's
Pretty
like
much.
so it's not like a beer culture. It's more this.
More rum. Yeah.
And where's this produced, for lack of a better word?
So this is Jamaican rum blended with 3 different distilleries, aged from 2 to 5 years, and we had it bottled in Holland. They have one of the biggest rum distilleries where they just purchase rum from all over the world. So I got to go over there, try everything out, and this is what we came out with. And I was like, I think this is the one. So this is our highest end, which is we're not selling at the high end price point, which we should, but obviously we're just coming to market, so we want to make sure people can actually get to try it, make a little revenue, and then reinvest that money back in. So we have the white rum, which is going to be a lower costing product, but it tastes just as good. I had someone try it that came to visit us in Vegas, one of Rebecca's friends, my fiance, and he was saying, I can't tell the difference between the two. He was like, how are you selling that much cheaper than this? I was like, bro, it's just quality product.
And so who's helping you with all of this? Like, obviously, I'm assuming you have people behind you with the...
I have a team.
Okay.
But I'm mostly leading a lot of it because a lot of it's creative. So you have to kind of be the face of it.
I like it. I'm having...
I'm glad you like it.
Legit.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I wouldn't be bullshitting you. I wouldn't keep drinking it. You feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it. You said Jamaican rum.
Jamaican rum.
What is the difference between Jamaican rum and like, I don't know, what is a different kind of rum?
So each island is kind of different. The way, I guess the molasses and everything else is kind of grown with the lands and everything. Like there's a whole process. Like there's a lot. I did so much research on this and I still don't even have like a concrete idea. But the way everything is kind of like, what would you say? I don't want to say distilled. the way the water runs and everything. So every land is different, so it gives it like a unique taste to wherever the distillery is. And Jamaica has I think 6 or 7 distilleries, and this one is blended with 3 different ones.
And why'd you do this? Like, what inspired you? Like, this is a big undertaking.
I like to drink, man.
Okay, you do.
I like to drink. I like to party.
This is a dream.
This is a dream.
Okay.
And I know Conor did his first, and a lot of people thought I was like piggybacking off of what he did, trying to copy. I'm like, nah, dude, I've been wanting to do that for the longest, but I didn't know where to get started. Former partners that I was working with, Driftwood Distilleries, they actually helped me get it launched, and from there, we've been growing. So
it's remarkable because I was just talking to Oban Elliott. I don't know if you saw him back there.
No, I didn't miss. Was he here? I missed him.
He was here.
I missed him. Oh, my boy, my Maji boy.
He was talking about that. He said, "Ask Aljo about that." What you just said. What is Maji?
It's Madri's is just a beer.
Okay.
Yeah,
so why is he here, Madri boy? Because he specifically said, "Ask Aljo about this." We were talking about beer.
So I never met him, and then when I went to Wales for that competition in Polaris, we were just coming out from where were we? Bali. I got offered this match. I'm over here on vacation. This was after the O'Malley loss. So I'm on a world tour right now. I'm like, I don't give a shit about fighting. I don't care. I made enough money. I just want to unwind and see if I still want to do this. And, went to Sydney, Australia. Then from there we went to Bali 2 weeks. And then we went to Wales after I had the match. I was like, guys, I'm not in shape. I've been drinking nonstop. But I get to Wales. I'm like, maybe I should cut out the drinking. And then I meet Oban. And he takes me out to like this local pub area with the boys, and we just started pounding Madri's. I'm like, I feel bad because I'm like, I know I got a match coming up, and this guy is taking it very serious, and I wanted to, but I'm like, you guys caught me at the wrong time. This is not gonna be the best version of myself. Thankfully, I still won, but it was a very close match.
How many days prior to the match are you drinking with Oban?
I want to say almost all week.
Oh God,
it was at least 2 days, 2 or 1 day before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I kept asking Mike Grundy to bump the weight class up, the weight limit. I was like, let's do 60. I was like, let's do 65. I was like, can we just do 70? I don't want to cut no weight. I'm just having a good time.
You said you were talking about this in an interview. It might have been maybe with DJ. I saw you and DJ talking where you were like, yeah, man, I'm going to have drinks during training camp.
Yes.
I'll have 3 or 4 or something like that. It came up because Oban is a big drinker, but he says he cuts it all out. Was there ever a period where you cut it out and just didn't like that so that you now went back to drinking 3 or 4?
Yeah, I had a period when I was an amateur and early pro. I cut it out clean, listening to the old school boxing guys.
Yeah.
No sex, no alcohol, trying not to stay up too late.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was a little bit more straight edge. But as I got older, man, I knew Jon Jones.
Yeah.
And I think that was the catalyst. When I saw him, I was just like, shit, man, well, if he could do it, I could maybe do some of it. Obviously, it was much easier for him to make the weight for some reason, whatever it was. And back
this
then,
is in wrestling, in college wrestling.
Yeah, but also for MMA, he was
yeah.
doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me to see him making 205 so easily, I was kind of like, well, it's a little bit more work for me, so maybe I don't do it during fight week. So I went from like 8 weeks, cold turkey, and then I went to like 6, then I went to 4, and I didn't see any difference in my performance. I thought, if anything, the only thing that changed was the mindset. I felt like I was more at ease, more relaxed. I feel like I'm doing the things I enjoy.
And so up to the fight, like, are you drinking on fight week?
Just one the day before.
Okay, that's it.
But the Kattar fight, I actually didn't have anything.
Why is that?
I was nervous.
You were?
Yeah, I thought that was such an important fight for me, where it was like, if I can't even compete, like not even close, then I'm probably gonna be done.
Really?
Yeah. So
you put that kind of pressure.
Oh yeah, because I was just like, dude, I made enough money. I don't really. The money's not the motivator. The motivation was the money, of course, but also to be the best. If I have no clear path of showing that I could be the best, and it's like, what am I even hanging around for?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I'm like, I'm not looking to be.
So if you had lost that fight, you might have retired.
If I lost
and looked bad,
and it was uncompetitive,
yeah.
It's just like,
you'd have been out.
What are we doing?
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way in training camp? Like, was it hard to get motivated? Was it hard to, to really get up for it?
To get motivated?
Yeah.
No, I felt super motivated for that fight, because at the end of the day, I knew what was at stake. I was this is literally the end of my career on the line. I'm literally walking the plank and staring over the edge with my hands tied behind my back. And sink or swim. It's either I'm going to be able to do what I say I could do and all the things that we've been doing in training, or then if not, then I just move on to the next chapter of my life.
You mentioned when you went on the world tour, so to speak, after O'Malley, that you were kind of like wondering if you would do this. You actually considered that. Did you consider after O'Malley stopping?
Yeah, it was kind of like I was like, maybe I coach, maybe I just help the guys and help that way.
Why were you thinking this? Because you were just champion.
I was just champ, but there was a lot from the mental aspect of being coerced into the fight. I know people are gonna say, "Oh, shut the fuck up! You signed the contract." I'm like, yeah, there were. Before I signed the contract, there was multiple no's. I don't know how many times I gotta keep repeating this. There were multiple no's, but we had a couple of things in our favor. One, the launch of this, which failed. It didn't get launched in time. So we only had the prototype, which I was a little bit bummed out about because I wanted to capitalize on that for sales, like life outside of fighting, right? So that didn't work out. And obviously the money. And I was promised after the fight, whatever the results were, that I can have my time to just unwind. Because that's really what it was. It was just all the stresses of getting injured, trying to battle back. I felt like I had no break as champ. I was constantly in a semi-fight camp, which is a lot mentally. I don't think people understand the mental strain that puts on you. You have a family. I don't have kids yet, but I have a family. I have other things I got to take care of, so it's not just fighting is my end-all, be-all. I mean, when I was younger, yes, when I was 21, 24. I'm 35 now, man. Last year, 34. I'm like, dude, I got other things that are just as important or take some type of precedent over training and fighting. Like, I would like to have a break so that I can miss it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that break made me come back completely a different person. Like, I was just ready to go.
The break from August to April, that's like 8 months. Yeah. Right?
Was it August, April? Yeah. End of, yeah.
Mid-August to mid-April. Afterwards.
Is it cold in here? I feel like it's cold in here.
You think it's cold?
Yeah.
Wow. I want to, you're the first, this is, I'm so happy you say this because, you're shivering.
Yeah.
You're that cold?
Yeah.
You know what's so great? I'm so happy you say this. I'm not happy that you're cold, but I like it boiling hot in the studio. We're new here, and I keep telling everyone that I think it's cold in here, and no one believes me, and they're like, oh, it's Ariel complaining. Now I have Aljamain Sterling saying it's cold in here.
Right
okay, well, I'm sorry about that. The jacket looks great, by the way.
Thank you.
That footage that came out for the documentary, the documentary that they were doing.
I don't know how anyone thinks that was good. Whoever released that was just kind of like...
Good for who?
Like, I don't see how there's any upside for the company.
Did you have a say in whether or not they would be there?
No, I walked in, I saw the cameras. I was like, well, it is what it is. I came here to say I was going to fight anyway, which I had every intention of showing up. I just don't think it was the best version of myself due to the injuries, having to nurse injuries for so long just to even get to the fight. But it is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, like, the better man that night won. So
yeah. And I'm not trying to rehash all of that, but I was just wondering, like, when you walk in, are you like, hey, could you maybe, like, this is a big meeting for me right now. Could you maybe not record this? And, like, did you have any sort of say, or is it just like, this is what it is?
Well, it wasn't really a conversation. Maybe I could have said something and maybe it would have been like, but I'm also glad it was kind of put out because I think people get to see how it looked from my perspective. You have your manager there, it's me. I'm talking with one of the head bosses and you see how the conversation is going. And, people aren't complete idiots for the most part, so I think people can kind of put two and two together and see what was, it wasn't, I wasn't set up to win, that if anything, that was having the deck stacked against you. And I was hoping I could defy the odds one more time. That's all I wanted. I was like, let me just try to see if I could do this one more time. I know I said no multiple times, whatever, 4 or 5 times. But I wanted to see if I could defy the odds. I was like, fuck it. We're going to go in, and if it works out, it works out. If not, then we took a chance. And at the end of the day, that's what life's all about. So,
considering all of that, seeing your friend win in September and be like, considering all of that, that must have felt incredible, right?
Oh, it was the best. Maybe it would have been a little different had I won and vacated the belt, right?
Yeah.
But, I lost to this guy, and then he goes out there and it shows the world, like, yeah, this is what a fair fight looks like. I'm like, I think you got off easy. That's my
against
personal.
Merab?
Yeah, I think he got off on the easy way with Merab.
What do you mean by that?
I think it could have been and should have been a lot worse.
Really?
Yes.
He thinks he won.
He's crazy. I watched the fight back. He's crazy. You could give him maybe 1 round. You could give him 1 round. I would say you could give him 1 round, round 5. And you could maybe give him what was that? I think round 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I forget which one exactly, but it wasn't like Merab blew him out of the water. But in real time, when you're watching, you're just like, you know who's winning, you know who's in control of the fight, and this guy's clearly not winning.
That must. I mean, we saw the. I think we just played it like you in the corner witnessing all of that unfold. There must have been a part of you that's like, this is karma, right?
Bittersweet.
Were you feeling that way?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was bittersweet because it was like, I would have liked to have shown that exposure of him, but to have one of my really good friends do that, that was the sweet part for it, and for him to realize a dream. So I was super happy about it.
There you guys are, right over there.
That was a great night.
Yeah. What was it like being in the Sphere?
I didn't get to really enjoy it as much as I would. Yeah, because we only got to see that one fight, and we were in the corner. We didn't get to watch as everything was kind of going on, which would have been cool.
What's the backstage like? Because it's not built like an arena, right?
It was weird. There was a lot of walking. I was saying, like, if you lose the fight and you have to walk up and down all these stairs,
Oh, really?
and your legs are beat to shit, that's not fun.
It's not built for
Sports.
Yeah, it's not built for that. But Merab and the victory and then the celebration afterwards. Like when you see that, knowing Merab, when did you first meet him? Like around what year?
2000. I mean, was I in the UFC yet when I met him? I would say at least 2013, 2014.
Okay, you came in 2014, the UFC, right?
When I got signed, yeah.
Yeah. So like this is a dude who came in from Georgia, landscape, who knows? And then
Construction.
Construction, excuse me.
Merab cutting your grass.
Yeah. Well, you could, make some nice little landscape cannot just be grass, by the way. It could be, a nice little patio. Point is, he gets this welcome back home as champion. Like insane stuff. This scene right over here. When you see your boy getting that.
I witnessed it firsthand before he even got the belt when I went to Georgia with him.
Yeah.
And I was blown away with the reception that he got. The amount of people that would show up whenever he would post anything on Facebook.
There's that shot, right? That shot is the best. The
dude on boss, man. That's boss level shit.
Yo, he's like a president coming home.
Oh, 100%. I told him you are the mayor.
Yes.
Of your home city and your country, bro.
It's crazy because like that can never happen. That doesn't happen for any American fighter.
No,
right?
This guy with the tattoo on his chest. Merab, I'm telling you, Merab is such a great dude.
Has he changed at all since becoming champ?
Not at all. If anything, he's funnier.
Yeah.
Because his English is better.
Right.
So you get to understand his personality that much more.
And perhaps like deja vu all over again. The word is they tried to get him to fight in December, and he said no.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, bro, you seen what happened to me.
Yeah.
If there's anything you learn from that and anything I can offer you in terms of advice is the fans don't get it. But we as athletes, we get it. And you need time to mentally want to fight. You need time to heal. You need time to get ready for the next training camp. And you just want to vote. Take your victory lap, just like any champ should, and pretty much every champ gets to.
Yeah. And so he held his ground.
I hope so.
Yeah.
He told me he has, so I'm hoping nothing's
I think
changed.
the plan was that they wanted him to fight in December, from what I understand. He's not fighting in December. I know they're looking for a main event, and now maybe it's February, but then Ramadan's in March, so maybe he gets pushed to April. But I'm happy to hear, to come back 3 months later, reminiscent of you, after he just went 5 rounds, reminiscent of you, against a killer like Umar. You just won the belt. You deserve some time to, I think, rejuvenate, but also enjoy that. Like, what a journey it was for him. Everyone else gets 5-6 months.
Look how many top 5, top 10 guys he had to fight just to get here. You know what I mean? He went from having those 2 shitty losses, the one split decision to Frankie Saenz, and then the one to Ricky Simon where they let the bell expire, the fight's over, and then they decide to rule it as a loss, which is super weird. He gets a stinger in his neck, and they use that as saying you were out. I'm like, clearly he's not out. I mean, I think we know what a guy that's out looks like. The guy got a stinger in his neck, and they ruled it as a TKO. And he rattled off how many wins, how many former champs, how many title challengers did he beat. And the guy that they want him to fight beat one guy. And I'm not saying he's not good. I love Umar. I think Umar's a great guy. But facts are the facts. I don't care what your cousin has done. That does not have any bearing on what you have done for the sport. You got to cut your teeth in this game, not riding the coattails of your family's merit. The same thing is like I always say, if I have kids, I want to make sure they're not riding off the coattails of what I do or have done in my life. I want to make sure they're out there, they're being go-getters. I think anyone should, with any type of real self-worth, would want to do that, earn their keep. You know, you don't want to be feeling like the person who's just here because you were handed an invite versus actually earning to be at the table. Earn your seat at the table.
How do you think that fight goes?
I think it's a very competitive fight. It's still very cold. With that said, excuse me.
Does this make you warmer?
It has. With Merab helping me for my training camp with Movsar, I think it's also helping him. We've gone over a lot of situations from like back control, side control, mount, just different things that he could try. And he's making my training and sparring sessions that much harder, which is very annoying because I have to work that much harder and I get way more fatigued. Because I'm used to taking guys down. If I take them down, it's usually like I get to hang out, show a couple punches, then we reset the position. But I think he's getting his jump start to the training camp now, which is good. And but he's not doing it at a pace where he would have to fight in December. He's getting some time to prepare. And I think that's what anybody would do, sensibly. Take the time to get the right training partners, get the right looks, and then when you get into training camp, you focus on what you need to do for the fight.
Yeah. Do you think O'Malley can get back to the belt?
What are they going to do, give him another unranked opponent and let him fight for the title next? I think there's too many good guys. And O'Malley's very talented. He's very good at what he does. I think if they're smart, and I think if he's smart, he only accepts the fights that will give him the stylistic edge, where he can use his range, use his feints. He's a very talented guy. We all know what his one weakness is the grappling. And some people will never really close the gap in that area. It's just, some people are better at this. Like, I'm never going to be this phenomenal striker. I could put in how many years? That's just not what my body is meant to do. I'm a grappler by nature. Maybe if I was younger and I started with that, maybe my twitches or quick twitch muscles would be a little bit different. But, and I'm 35. Like, not really teaching this old dog new tricks. Right. Like, you could show me new stuff, I can implement it, but I'm not really looking to revamp my whole style.
Have you reached a point where you're like, I'm not going past 37, or I'm not going past 38, or I'm not going past 40? Now that you say you're 35, and you're like, is there an age where you don't want to go past?
I had said 32.
Oh, damn. When was that?
When I was about 28.
Also, 28 is not that far away from 32, so why did you pick that number? It's a random number.
I thought I was going to win the belt, and I would have defended it a couple of times and said, all right, thanks for the, as Conor would say, thanks for the cheese, smell you laters. But it didn't quite work out that way, and it is what it is. Like, we all have our different journeys and our different paths in life, and we'll see if, I think I'm just taking it fight by fight. I don't really have a number set on it. Right now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I want to test the waters December 7th with Movsar at UFC 310 and see if he's as good as he says he is. And I think that would be a good indicator of letting me know where I'm at.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because you were supposed to fight in Utah, and then you injured your shoulder, right?
My elbow.
Your elbow. Actually, I think you posted the footage.
Yep.
Right? So what happened here? I think we have the footage. Your training, was that at the, was this at the PI?
This was at the PI, sparring with Jeremy Kennedy. And I was just hitting like peak form shape, and I was excited to get these rounds in with him to see where I was really at.
Damn.
And he goes for the Kimura lock. He had it behind my back, and I was able to pull it back forward. So as I pull it back forward, I'm now trying to straighten my arm so I could get back to like an underhook position and just completely kill the Kimura lock. And somehow, some way, I didn't even know that was even a possibility of getting an injury right there. And
what
heard
happened?
Something pop. He heard it pop. It sounded like Velcro. So it wasn't like a pop. It was like it sounded like gloves. If you open up a fresh pair of Velcro gloves, it sounded like something just tore. And yeah, it wasn't great.
And so what was it?
I don't know what these muscles are called. I forget. But I tore that. Partial, not a complete tear. Okay. So I didn't need surgery or anything like that. And they said it was a grade 1, thank God, which is like 10 to 15%. But I got the MRI the very next day, and then I got a follow-up MRI, and they said, okay, it's pretty much the same thing, so nothing really changed, just improvement in the strength area. So that worked out, but it is what it is. It's just a shitty injury. Like, I didn't think that could happen. I didn't even know I don't think he thought that could happen either. It was just one of those weird freak situations.
And so how do you feel, like you and Movsar have been going back and forth for quite some time. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think you've even sort of implied that he's on steroids or was on steroids, right?
I mean, we all know that we've all heard the same accusations about, respectfully, like I said, I have friends from that region, but again, respectfully, people from that region, it's different. It's just the culture here in the States is very different. Like, people here in the States, we don't have the same. I know people are gonna say, "Yeah, you're building." It's not a building. I fought guys that have been on gear. It is what it is.
You can tell. Can you tell when you fight them? Yeah.
Is
it just like a strength thing?
It's apparent.
Or is it a look thing? Is it a feel thing or is it a look thing?
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
But again, you don't know until they actually pop for something.
Yeah.
I mean, TJ was outed how many years ago before he actually popped for something? And because you pay for all these doctors and things to make sure you can pass these exams or tests or whatever. And I think people tried to say, well, you never pop for anything. I'm like, even for me, people say the same thing about me. But again, it's the same thing. Like, the same thing I say about him, he could say the same thing about me. But I also know I don't have the luxury or the financial backing, like now I do, but back then to pay for stuff like that. My body looks exactly the same as it did when I was 21 years old. Like, nothing's changed. You've heard Bobby Green talk about the guys over there overseas, their training and what those guys. It's just where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's a lot of guys who go over there and they come back with stories. It's like, well, are all these guys talking out their ass? So I have speculation that, yeah, maybe he's on some shit. Maybe he has. Maybe he's not anymore. I don't know. But either way, I'm going to show up and we're going to fight. I'm going to see who's better. I still think I'm a better fighter than he is. So regardless.
But when you have that idea in your mind, is there a part of you that's like, nah, I don't want to fight someone who I suspect might be doing that?
Nah, because I think I'm him, bro.
Yeah. All right.
That's what it is.
Because I think
I think I'm gonna boss my damn self. So it's just like,
who cares?
I don't need it. I feel like I was blessed in my life that I'm just as strong as a lot of these guys who are on stuff, and I've trained with guys who are on stuff, and they're very surprised at how strong I am for not having to take anything. Well, at least this is what they think. Like, if you don't take anything and you're this strong, they're kind of like, well, that's pretty damn impressive. So with that being said, that gives me the confidence that even if he is strong in certain areas, I think I'm going to be just as strong to match that. And I think it's going to come down to skill set.
So when you look at him, you've been around the game, you fought them all, you beat them all. Are you impressed with him? His technique? He's undefeated, I think 18-0. Off the top of my head, he's beat some tough guys, Arnold Allen recently. What's your assessment of him?
I met Arnold Allen for the first time really at the PI.
Great guy.
He's a solid dude.
Yeah.
I like Arnold. We kind of had like this, before I get to your question, we had like these awkward sizing up moments.
Oh.
We call it sizing them up, right?
Okay.
So like he's doing PT, I'm doing my S&C, and I have my shirt on. Normally I never have my shirt on for S&C. He has his shirt off. I'm with my fiance. She jumped in. She was like, she wants to jump in today. So I didn't know he was going to be there, but randomly she wants to jump in with me. Okay, come down. And then I have my other boy, Alp, former teammate. He's retired now. He was in the UFC, Turkish Delight.
Oh, yeah.
So we go in, we're doing PT, we're doing S&C. He has no shirt on. And then I'm doing all these exercises, these like looking like a beast. And then he's doing like these little bands. And he says something to one of the guys. He's like, you need to be making me do stuff like this. So this the competition's in here.
Right.
So it's just funny. So as soon as he leaves, I take my shirt off. I'm like, all right, so it's not awkward anymore because I wasn't trying to have a pissing contest. And then the next day, I take my shirt off and I go upstairs. He's upstairs with no shirt, with his shirt on. So it's just funny. It's just like two top 10 guys.
Does that happen a lot, by the way, at the PI? I'm surprised that more of that stuff doesn't happen or that things don't pop off. We've heard about a couple.
Yeah.
But like you're all in there, like all these lions in there. You've got to be running into dudes all the time, right?
All the time. But I'm pretty cordial with everybody. I don't have I'm a little bit more mature now where I'm not trying to start beef with people.
Has there ever been uncomfortable moments?
For me?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
of
really?
Course. Yeah.
Like with guys you were about to fight or?
No, I don't want to say I'm about to fight, but just people in general. I mean, even when Henry came in, when he was announced that he's coming back from his retirement, then he shows up at the PI. I'm just like, all right, bro, you're in my safe place right now, brother. So, but Henry's cool. But just that, it's like now he sees me with my shirt off, and Arnold Allen is. I now I got a pump going, so now I'm looking big, I'm looking swole. So now I'm back in my mind, I'm thinking like he's probably thinking like I'm sizing him up again.
Yeah. This is King of the Jungle stuff.
Yeah, but it was just I was just getting my workout in. But he was a cool dude. I was actually thinking about asking him to work out, just see if I could pick his brain with anything, see if there was any takeaways I could learn to add to my game. Because I train with everybody for the most part. With that said, I forgot what the original question is.
Movsar. Like, are you impressed?
Am I impressed?
18-0, undefeated, beat some tough guys.
I think he's a very smart dude, got pretty solid fight IQ, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Impressed is not the word I would use. I think he's a sound fighter. I think he's very technical in the sense of what he's trying to do, get to where he needs to be. But impressive would be more like Ilya. Like, that's impressive. Like, that's something that makes you go, wow. Okay, that's the bar.
Yeah.
How do I get there? So with that said, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he's not dangerous. I mean, he's got his tools and he's good at what he's good at, but there's nothing overly, and I'm not shitting on him. I think he's a tough opponent, 18-0 for a reason, and soon to get that churro, as Max Holloway would say. You know, maybe I don't use that line, maybe because obviously he just lost. So respect to the former king. But he's gonna have to hold this L, man. That O's got to go.
How far away does a win over Movsar get you from the Ilya conversation?
I think a win over Movsar gets me in the title shot conversation.
Oh yeah,
I think so. I think Arnold Allen beat Giga Chikadze, who's a stud, and he just lost to Movsar, and then they bumped him higher than Movsar, which is super weird.
Yeah, ranking
makes no sense. Yeah. I don't know. This is the one thing I can't agree with Dana on. I don't know who the hell's doing the ranking.
I don't know if they're real people, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like some beta.
I agree with him on that one too.
Yeah, like how does he win that fight after losing to the guy, and then he's now ranked higher over a common opponent that he just lost to? Like, I don't really understand that.
So do you have any concern that the issues that you might have had as well as bantamweight champion will preclude you from getting a featherweight title shot?
No, I think his new blood is exciting. There's a storyline of obviously Merab's the champ, so it's like, who is Merab gonna back? You know? So people are already asking these questions. I'm like, guys, please stop with the drama. Like, I don't even want to think about that right now. Like, I have to win this fight to get into that conversation, right? So I got a tough task in front of me in less than 4 weeks, and I'm just excited to shut this guy up once and for all for all the corny videos he's posted. Like, at least be funny. Like, I don't care if you're funny. Like, be funny. I can laugh with you. Okay, that was a good one. But some of the shit, I'm just like, yeah, you need a new writer, man. Yeah. You gotta get somebody else to write this stuff for you because this is just bad.
Does that mean you think Ilya beats Volkanovski
again?
Yeah, because I'm assuming that that's the next title shot, right? So that will probably happen.
With all due respect, and I know I'm saying respect a lot because I'm gonna say something that's clear.
Yeah. Usually, with all due respect,
do you think Volk wants those problems again?
Man, but I don't think he's worried. Ilya's really good right now.
Yeah,
I think
his style doesn't fit a guy. Like, if you're going to sit there and try to strike with the guy again, what is your path to victory? We all know your chin has been tested twice in a row. Mm-hmm. How much recovery could you have possibly had, and what could change from the first fight to the second fight? I'm not saying it can't happen. Crazier things have happened. I thought Volk fought a phenomenal first round until he kind of just got stuck on a cage, and Ilya does what he does. He beats guys when they get to the cage in that black line. He gets you there. Guys don't know which way to go. There's like their feet stop moving. Just slide your feet. Get out of the way. It's easier said than done, but I don't know what really changes is from the first fight to the second fight.
Your relationship, I heard you mention this, your relationship with Merab won't put you in an awkward spot if you fight Ilya, right?
I don't know. You got to ask Merab that.
Nah. No, because I heard there's no way. I think maybe I'm crazy. I think Merab would back you if anything, or maybe he just stays out of it. But like his relationship with you goes way further back than Ilya.
Of course.
Yeah, it's not a question.
I understand the the blood history and you know the that goes a little bit deep as well. But I don't know.
And you guys are boys.
Yeah, of course. But I like I said, like those conversations don't even happen until
Of course.
I have to beat this guy anyway. So hopefully, God willing, you know, go out there and shut this guy up December 7th, drink some Funk Harbor in the post-fight interview, and then life is good, and we get the title shot next.
That's the one thing about all that always annoys me. To the best of my knowledge, you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they ever actually offered you a Merab fight or vice versa, right?
No.
They always talk about this hypothetical, like, oh, you guys, but like that was never, it was never like, oh, it was so pie in the sky stuff because a few things had to happen, but now they use that against you. It's sort of like Fitch and Koscheck back in the day, or even Rory and GSP. It never got to the point where it was like, yo, you guys have to fight each other or else.
Yeah.
And now it's like this revisionist history where people are like, oh, they didn't want to fight each other. That's bullshit.
It is. It's one thing when they hear it from me saying it, and it's like, oh, you're just saying that, but it's the truth. The truth is the truth. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
There was never a fight offered. Not saying we would have accepted it anyway.
Sure, but you were never put in that spot.
Never.
You had to sit down and actually collectively talk about this.
Because they're saying that he didn't get the title shot ahead of Cheeto, some of the fan base at least, the crazy ones, because I was blocking him and denied him. So some people were even saying as punishment he had to go fight somebody else. I'm like, do you hear how ridiculous you sound? The guy who earned it as punishment has to go fight another top 5 former champion, 2-weight champion, because it's punishment. Do you hear how ridiculous that sounds? Where the guy who was ranked 6 got moved up to 5, so it looks like he's fighting a top 5 opponent and just came off a win over Pedro Munoz in a close back and forth fight, is getting the title shot because of the storyline. Like, what are we even talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to say you want to give him if the narrative, we want to give him a chance to redeem himself and get avenge his loss. Okay. But if you're going to say this is the next best guy, like, you're going to piss on me and call it rain? Like, what are we talking about? Like, don't insult my intelligence. Like, that's my only thing with that situation where merit doesn't always matter so much. So now it's all of a sudden where Merab is doing something off of merit, and he's still getting like heat for that. Like, he asked for the Davison Figueiredo fight. On merit, he is probably the most deserving guy in the bantamweight division to date because there's nobody else. Everybody else has lost. I mean, you could say the most skilled guy possibly could be Umar, but it goes back to, if we're talking about merit, what's wrong with him asking for a fight against a former champion, a guy who actually beat 3 guys in the bantamweight division? That and in top 5. That it makes sense.
I feel though that
Top 10, because Rafa wasn't in the top 5, but
I feel like the fans have come around. Like I see you got a lot more. It's a weird thing. I think ever since the O'Malley fight, you don't get the same type of heat. Do you agree?
not as much. I would agree.
Yeah, it's a weird thing how that works, right? Like all of a sudden, maybe they think you got wronged or whatever, and they turn. I do want to give you a lot of credit. I notice you don't mind like putting yourself out there, especially on Twitter, like talking politics, talking this and that. Like I'm like sometimes I'm like,
where's my MAGA hat?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, damn, Alja, you keep going, you go, and I respect it. You put it out there.
Yeah, like I think what's right is right. Like even like the Israel-Palestine war that's going on. Like I think it's almost, you're almost just as wrong for you not to say something when there's wrongdoing going on. Or if you have a stance on something, like people are going to support you no matter what. For you to not have a stance, I think you're playing the political game of trying to appease to everyone. I rather know who my people are than having questions like, I don't know if I should say this because this person might feel bothered by me saying this, but this is how I feel and this is what I think. Mm-hmm. And if you agree with me, cool. If you don't, agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. We can all have differences in opinions. Doesn't mean we have to all like them. Like, I'm not going to hate you because of this unless you're like killing kids or raping women. Like that. Like that's a clear like, hey man, you're kind of a piece of shit. Like, yeah. Like that's clear. But anything else, like you don't like red, I like blue. Okay, I'm not going to hate you over that. Like, I don't know. I think it's very simple, but people have gotten so crazy in today's day and age that they make it almost impossible for, like, it's weird for me even to say this, like celebrity figures to have an opinion on something because you dribble a basketball, shut up and dribble. So I can't have an opinion on something that also affects my life.
People just want to put you in a box. So for them, you are Aljamain Sterling fighter, and you cannot have any other interest. Meanwhile, the guy who's telling you to essentially shut up and dribble has an opinion on everything under the moon, right? And he's a carpenter, let's say, but he doesn't just stick to carpenting. And so it's always weird for me when people say that about athletes or famous people, celebrities, actors, because it's like, yo, you have a litany of interests as well. Why can't they? But it's because they've put you in their mind as Aljamain Sterling athlete/fighter.
Yep.
And that's it. They don't want to hear anything else. How dare you? Don't tell me. Unless they agree with you. If they agree with you, then they're like, yeah.
Right on.
If they don't, that's when it's like stick to sports or stick to MMA, you know?
I don't have all the answers. I've never once pretended to like know everything. I speak on what I actually do know. And if I'm wrong, correct me. And I think there's a right way to do that. And of course, there's a dickhead way to do that as well. And I'm willing to call that out. Like I'm a real person when I'm on social media. I'm not trying to pretend I'm stuck up my nose to the sky and pretend I'm better than everybody else. Dude, we bleed the same thing. I take a shit, I take a piss the same way everybody else does. I put my pants on the same way everybody else does. I mean, I'm maybe lied about the pants. I have like a secret trick.
Oh, what is it?
I'm joking.
Oh,
But I'm just saying, like, I'm the everyday person just like everybody else. Like, before I was doing this, what the hell do you think I was doing? I was a teacher. I was a coach. I was subbing. I was doing all these other things. I was working as a stock boy. I was working at a lumber mill. I'm an everyday, hardworking American like everybody else, and I'm entitled to an opinion just because I'm now fighting under the limelight. I don't think that changes that.
Are you going to MSG on Saturday?
If the UFC gives me tickets,
Come on.
I'm still waiting for my approval. What's
what?
up, guys? The New York boys here.
For real?
Yeah.
You got Weidman on there?
I'm worried that I don't want to put this in the atmosphere, but it could be possibly his last fight. It's New York, the setting, the tone, everything seems right.
Yeah.
I hope it's not, but I would be very saddened if I stayed in Vegas to watch the fights and not get to hang out with him.
This is why you
and see
came.
him. This is why I ultimately came, and I also have a dental appointment.
Okay. I mean,
You gotta take care of the teeth.
that matters. You got to be in the building.
I hope so.
So how does that work? You like make a request? What is that process?
Yeah, I put the request in, and it's a wait list because I know Donald Trump is coming. Last time he came, he took up so many of the tickets. Obviously, I'm not the champ anymore, so I don't get priority like everybody else. But I did win my last fight, so hopefully with my fight coming up, it makes sense
You're one
to
of
have
New
me.
York's own. I think it's one of the great travesties that you've never had an. You're the only guy, really,
Yeah,
of all the New York guys, right?
I think Merab. I don't know if Merab's ever fought in New York.
Well, I guess I was thinking of like the
Like born here.
yeah, and the majority of you're so associated with Sarah Longo and training here. You not only have you not fought at MSG, none of the New York cards. You fought in Newark and in New Jersey a bunch of times, and it's still the brain thing, right?
Yes, that's still what it is. And
How is it that every other top commission in the world is okay with you fighting, but not New York?
New York is behind the times with a lot of things. And respectfully, I've emailed those guys multiple times. I said I would love to fight here at least one time before I hang up my gloves, man. I'm getting older. Like, what are we waiting for? And it's literally, it just seems like all they have to do is have a board meeting and make the decision. At least that's how it was articulated in the email.
What's the issue? There was something in a scan?
Yeah, so they didn't know if I was like born with it or if it was something that developed from fighting where it's like, oh, we don't want to take the risk because if you have a brain bleed, then it could be bad liability.
Sure.
Okay, I understand that. I'm also understand that I am here taking those risks. Like, I don't plan to do stupid stuff, but like you never see my fight style where I'm just sitting there getting pummeled because I'm very aware of all that, right? So I'm not saying in the back of my mind I'm thinking like, oh, the commission, but I'm very conscious of that because then when I do my follow-up scans, I got to make sure everything is on the up and up so that it still clears me to let them know like, yeah, it's more than safe for me to fight. Fighting is a hard sport. Doesn't matter if you were born with this or not. Anybody can have this develop in a fight, depending on how much trauma you take to the head. So I think New York needs to kind of get it together and stop dragging the feet.
Does it annoy you? Does it bother you?
And I talk to all of them. Whenever I go to these New York fights, I see them. I see Kim, the commissioner.
Yeah.
I fought for her at Raging Wolf when I was an amateur. I fought for them, I think, 2 or 3 times. And it's just like, I could fight on the Native American reservations, but you're not going to allow me to fight on the big stage. Like, I'm helping to put, and like, obviously it's not just me alone, but I think the attraction would be, it would be a 2-way street to.
Yeah, of course. And it's just weird that you're the only one. And I know you want to be on there, right? I mean, it would be huge. Would it be sad for you? Like, would it be a thing, or at this point, are you kind of over it, where it's not really something that you care about?
I don't want to say I'm over it, but we haven't had a lot of success in New York.
Are you actively trying? Oh, we as a team.
Yeah,
it is a weird thing. Yeah,
it hasn't been a lot of success fighting here. When you look at the ratio of the UFC fights that have taken place in New York, from Buffalo all the way down to Long Island to New York City. I mean, Long Island, Chris Weidman won, thank God.
Yeah, that was
over
great.
Gastelum.
Yeah, that was incredible.
And we needed that, so that's just what it is. I would like for it to be done because I have so many friends from high school that I haven't seen in years that would love to come out, but we're not close enough where they're going to come fly out to across the world or across the country to come see me fight, right? Because it's not like we're having everyday conversations, but it'd be nice for them to have it in their backyard where they could actually make it out.
Do you think Jon wins on Saturday?
I think it's going to be a very good fight. Here's my thing. I'm very fond of Stipe. Obviously, my history with Jon runs deeper than my friendship with Stipe. And of course, all respect to Stipe, firefighter, something I was looking to do when I applied to be a firefighter when I was a pro coming up. And I actually had my number called, but I had to turn it down because I'm already doing well with what I'm doing, so it doesn't make a lot of sense for New York City, for the FDNY. But with that said, Stipe has his tools to win. I just hope it's not a one-sided fight. I would like for it to be competitive because I think the fans would be more appreciative of it overall, and they will cut Jon some slack over him and the ducking allegations of, which I understand their viewpoint on that, but it also is like, who needs who more? Does Jon need Aspinall or does Aspinall need Jon Jones? Like, I know from a selfish standpoint, as a fan, like, yeah, I would love to see that fight. But I also know that Jon is on his way out. And I think we all know that. He's expressed that. And with that said, it's like, on your way out, are you going to say, give me the biggest lion that you possibly can? Like, I don't think I'm doing that. And I even asked my friend when I was doing my podcast, like, do you think you would do that? Like, I understand that you want that fight, but would you do that if you were him?
I understand where he's coming from. As much as I want to see it happen. And by the way, shout out to the Weekly Scraps.
Shout out.
Get it on YouTube. I do think that he's trolling us. I do think that he'll take the fight. I think he's trying to rile us all up with all these things.
Could be.
You know him. You know him better than most here.
Yeah.
Like, you know him on a personal level.
I wouldn't say like that. Like, I know him,
He's
but
trying to rile us up, I think. When the way he takes little pot shots at Aspinall. What has he done? I'd rather fight Alex. He was talking about his resume or lack thereof, he called it. Like, it feels like he's needling him. And he's needling all of us that want to see it happen too.
Yeah. So maybe it goes to the negotiation rooms.
Yeah.
And if he wins, I think maybe there's a possibility that they finally unify the belt, and it's a huge payday for him. And if he does lose to Aspinall, I would imagine he's going to get an automatic rematch. I would imagine. Who else would there be to even...
If he wants one, yeah.
Do that, yeah.
Knowing him like you do, are you surprised that he's this good for this long, considering, like, you're not
surprised at all.
Even though, like, this dude, like, I remember him telling me on the way to the Gustafsson fight, walking out UFC 165, he was thinking to himself, I can't believe I just spent the whole week partying and I'm about to fight this guy. I can't believe I did this to myself. Like, I can't even imagine what he was doing that week to say that. He said this to me in an interview, right? And here he is. That was 11 years ago.
Yeah. He's a once-in-a-lifetime generational athlete, man. He really is. And again, I've seen this firsthand. And then when I realized, he offered me a couple shots at the bar, and I was like, I'm fighting in, I think I told him 4 or 5 weeks. And he was fighting in like 2 weeks.
This is in the UFC?
This is in the UFC when we were upstate New York. I was at Team Bomb Squad. He had just left down to New Mexico, down to Jackson's. And I was like, am I doing something wrong? Something's not mathing. Like, the math ain't mathing right now. Yeah. But then I watch him on TV. He's going out there. He obliterates the competition. And I'm like, I think there's something to be said about that. It's not saying like
just
go out and party.
Like once in generation athlete. And
yeah, I think he's physically gifted. I think he does all his homework. I think he's very meticulous in his preparation with getting the looks that he needs to see. The same way he didn't take that short notice fight with Chael Sonnen. He's not that guy. He wants to make sure he's got the utmost edge on you in terms of knowing you inside and out before he's accepting a fight and knowing that he knows you better than you know yourself. And I think when you have someone who's that dedicated to what they're trying to do, that's a dangerous person to stop. I don't know if a couple of drinks are going to stop you, Coke, whatever it is. I don't think any of that's going to stop you. I think as long as you're in shape, you're ready to go.
And here he is all these years later. It's remarkable. Like the dude won the belt in 2011. And I know he had a long layoff there, but...
Yeah, but just imagine anybody else, like anyone else for the most part doing any of these things, they're probably crumble. Their whole world would probably
4 years
crumble.
later.
Yeah. So kudos to him, man. Like I would think it's nothing short of inspirational. Like I'm not saying it's role model like yeah, party, do this. Like that's not the role model messaging, but it's also the role model messaging of put your mind to something, put the work in, and truly do the smart work, and you get the results that you seek.
Last thing, real estate. How are we looking there? Al's killing it.
Al's crushing it. I Quinta Realty.
He sold New York Rick his house.
We were talking about that outside, actually.
Famously.
Yeah.
Are you involved at all?
Very little.
Okay.
I'm more so connecting
right here.
the
I mean,
dots.
this is
Some bosses right there, right?
I mean, look at you, the
Two
kings
sharp
of
men.
Long Island.
Two sharp guys right there.
So you're just dabbling.
Just dabbling. I'm more of an investor side right now.
Okay.
Al's more selling the real estate direct to consumer. I'm just doing what I can with referrals, anything like that. But for investing, that's more so my avenue.
Okay, so you have that. You have this.
Yeah.
Other things? You strike me as one of those
Some
guys.
music. I do a little music, you know.
Yes.
I ain't cutting it up like that, but got some bars. Wait till this track drop. Here to Win. I think people are gonna like that one. It's kind of like reminiscent
week,
of Roy Jones Jr.
Potentially this week?
If I get the cover art so I can finish the upload,
got it.
so that we could get it on these platforms. But for right now, I'm aiming for next week. I think next week it'll be up and live and running.
By the way, will you watch Tyson Paul?
I'm gonna watch it. I like Jake Paul, even though you know all the goofy stuff, whatever, like the mismatches. It is what it is. But he's making it entertaining, making it fun as much as he can. I'm here for that. And obviously, I know there aren't matches to take serious. But this one with Tyson, I actually think Tyson is looking to get in that ass. So
It's insane how he looks at 58.
yeah, he's a monster right now. I was watching a little bit of that face-to-face interview, and the way Tyson was looking at him, I could see the reminiscence of the old Tyson, just like, I want to fuck you up. I want to kill this. I want to eat all your children.
Yeah.
And that's what I was seeing when he was talking to him face-to-face. I was like, this could be a good one.
So you're not one of those who's like, 58.
No, that's definitely a thing, but I can't ignore that. That's, facts are the facts. But I think Tyson will be a worthy challenger. I don't think he's running into Jake Paul's punches. I'm just hoping to see some vintage peekaboo TikTok coming up, boom, 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 and come in and get in that body work. That's going to be nasty. I'm excited.
I'm going there tomorrow. I'll be.
That's in Texas, right?
In Texas, yeah, Cowboy Stadium.
Tell Tyson to send me some tickets.
You want to come?
Nah, I can't.
You'd leave and come back. It's on Friday, by the way, not Saturday.
Oh.
You could come back and forth.
I could actually.
Yo, they got to hook you up. I mean, that's crazy.
I hope so.
Yeah. If you want me to put it in
word in with Dana?
I'm happy to do so. I'll text him,
You gonna
Snapchat, DM. I now see his tweets because they took away the block function. So, like, you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't know.
You can now
that.
see the tweets.
When people block you,
Yeah.
but you can't, like...
But you can't interact.
Oh, that's perfect. That makes
So it's
sense.
great. I mean, this is a dream. This is all I've ever wanted.
Yeah. That's great.
Where can people get this one more time?
You guys can get Funk Harbor Rum at funkharborrum.shop. Go check it out. We have the white rum coming for Christmas, so please go check it out. All support is appreciated.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm like the little businessman. I'm the blue-collar worker just like you guys. Let's go. Let's
And
go.
hopefully you sell that for like 400, 500 million.
I'm trying to get a fraction of what Conor
Yeah.
got. Just a fraction. I'm not greedy. I'm here to share the wealth with everybody.
I appreciate you bringing it in. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in. Good luck. December 7th, rapidly approaching. Less than a month away. Yeah. I mean, even doing this trip, I'm assuming you're going to train while you're out here.
Of course.
Yeah.
100%. I got to.
Back on Long Island.
Long Island, possibly the city. We'll see.
Okay. Well, good luck. Can't wait for it. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. There he is. Host of the Weekly Scraps as well, and proud owner of the brand new Funk Harbor, which I finished, by the way.
Yes.
How about that? As did you. Are you still cold?
A little bit better.
Okay, all right. Well, we hooked him up. We'll take a quick break. Back to wrap up the show. Yesterday in studio was Michael Chandler. By the way, Chandler Oliveira, who do you have?
I don't have nobody.
All right, fine. On the fence. You can get more of that great insight on the Weekly Scraps. Thanks for watching this video. Hey, before you go, do me a favor. Hit that sub button. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the little bell thingy as well. Leave us a nice comment or two. We appreciate you all very much.